What's up, holiday Scrooges and general joy, cheer, goodwill to everyone? I don't know. I'm a Scrooge and a Grinch, so it is 9 o'clock in the morning. It is the 6th day of November 2022. It is about 64 degrees and sunny here at Site B. A lot of family drama going on, so if the phone rings or if I get distracted or if I seem a little off today or yesterday or going forward, just letting you know there was a death in the family last night. My sister's wife passed away, so it's gonna, affect the regularity of my stuff and probably anything like that. You can just see I just got a stress acne already from this. Okay, so we were doing holiday suggestions for the gamer, geek, otaku, nerd. I need a haircut in your life. And yesterday I did the recommended accessories that I think if you need to get a gamer a present, you should give them. And since I posted that, I've got some wonderful suggestions of more stuff. So, recommendations for gaming accessories for the tabletop role-playing gamer in your life, round 2. Because there was a couple things I forgot. All right, so let's thank you, everybody who supported this. So, yes, and offered suggestions. I'm going to go to the video we did yesterday, which received 36 views so far and 4 thumbs up. All right, so I suggested, just to remember, dice bags, rule books, paper, pen, and pencils and crayons, maps, and figures. From Need More Cowboy, we got recommended dice, of course, miniatures, books, dice towers. I don't like dice towers. Right there. I do not like them. I think they take too much space. They're distracting. And actually, from my personal experience, dice towers actually make it easier for people to cheat than harder for people to cheat. So, yeah, I do not like dice towers. There are dice rolling trays or pads. Or really, I mean, if you are one of those people who have issues with rolling dice, like, throw dice everywhere. The Will Wheaton school of dice rolling, just roll them here and put them down. That's still the best. Or roll them on a piece of paper. But there are trays and pads. Hit point dials or counters. Have you seen these? Some of them are digital. Some of them are physical. Most people just write it down, but some people can have like a little, thing. It's like, oh, it starts a thing. And then they were originally used to for life in Magic the Gathering, because life in Magic the Gathering is usually a set number, while in D&D, I could have 150 hit points. So does this thing go up to 150? No. Thankfully, there are apps that do hit point markdown now, but paper's still the best. Whiteboard, grid map, and marker or grease paper. Whiteboard, yeah, great, because they're cheap. Grid maps, you can get them. They're made of, the mysterious, like, plastic, naga hide, fabric, leather, recycled bamboo stuff. There are wet marker and dry marker ones. You have to know the difference if you have a wet marker pad or a dry marker pad. I prefer the wet marker pads because the ink is easier to remove. But the trouble with the those things is, after a while, even whether you're using wet marker or dry marker, the ink begins to bleed in. So whether it's a month or a year, you're going to start seeing ghosts of what you drew on there. And, these things are pretty expensive. So, yeah, whiteboards or chalkboard. If you can find, chalkboard. But, yeah, if you can have a whiteboard, I would recommend a whiteboard or just paper or index cards over the thing. Battle maps are nice. Flying stands for miniatures. I never even thought of that. Because these exist, but usually, we just, to show something flying, we just put it on a Coke can or a dice. But yeah, they're like little plastic things, and they have a base, and then they're see-through, and they have a spot where you can put your figure. So if your figure's flying, yeah. Spell card decks. We know that I love these things. I love the prop cards, and if you could have cards that explain exactly what the spell does, especially if you don't need to look up things in the book that way, so you just have cards. You have the cards laid out and with what your wizard has memorized for the day, and then when you cast that spell, you can just flip it over and you have a complete description of what the spell does, and you can even make your own. So basically, most of these 3x5 cards. I should have said 3x5 cards when I said pencils and papers. Spell templates to visualize the area of effect. This is also a thing. They're either plastic or metal, and they're in the shape of the most common area effect spells. Effect markers like stunned, paralyzed, poisoned, etc. So these are like little rings, and each one's a different color, and you put them on the figure to show the figure stunned or paralyzed or whatever. Again, I've seen them used. It's not something I've ever used or really like, but I've seen them used, you know. And of course, a GM screen. I cannot believe I didn't recommend a GM screen or just a rules cheat. I don't use GM screens anymore. I used to, but now I like to be able to see the table. If I need to look stuff up, I'll have my notes to the side or in my lap. But yeah, I don't use, but a lot of other people do use GM screens. And if you just need something to hide your dice behind, which, you know, I think at this point in the hobby is sort of pointless. I mean, who cares what I roll? I'm the DM. If I want to hit you, I'm going to hit you because I could just go, oh, my bad guy's got plus 3,000. You know, I don't really need to cheat dice rolls when I'm the DM because I could just make shit up. But it is a good place to have, like, you know, quick reference to rules and stuff. So you can just go, oh, what does it mean? Bill, you have 2 ranks of exhaustion. What's that mean? Hold on. Let me check the screen. Okay. Yeah, so yeah. That's good. So I'm surprised I didn't recommend GM screen, probably because I don't really use it. And from Muffin Chubby, we have non-slip map. A table is an easel for making reading the books easier. So these are little wooden easels that originally were used in, like, you know, for artists and in classes and for like laying down music. You put a book down, and so it's not technically touching the table. It's at an angle, so it's easier to read. Miniature monsters, you know, Legos, figures, whatever. Dice bags, notebooks, tablet capes, more dice, and stuff like that. And then Cal Veroni suggested the best accessory you can get the gamer in your life is people to play with. So, you know, hey, family, maybe show some interest in the gamer in your life's hobby and say, hey, Susan, show me how to play this game that takes up so much of your time. Or, you know, and tell me about it. You know, I mean, maybe the best gift you can give the gamer, geek, otaku, nerd, obsessed fan in your life is to show interest in their hobby. Talk to them about it. Learn about it. Who knows? I mean, maybe even watch a game sometime. Let them feel like you are part of their life, because that's, you know, probably the best. What would I add since yesterday? Again, I think that, you know, paper, pencils, crayons, 3x5 cards, and something to carry your stuff in. Those are probably it. Now, snacks. Snacks is an interesting accessory because when we game, we like to snack. I don't know why. It probably has something to do with busy hands. But, you know, we're always nibbling. So if you're going to have snacks, you know, then you need to start to worry about cleaning up after the snacks. I have noticed in my 40 some odd years of doing this hobby that very few people clean up after themselves after a game. I'm like, when I'm done playing, I clean up the mess. I empty the trash. I ask you know, hey, do you want me to put the tables back where we found them? You know, stuff like that. But I am like one of the few people I have ever seen do this. I have seen people come in with like Kentucky Fried Chicken and just leave the chicken and the mess and the bones all over the table and get up and leave, you know, or spill soup on the table or coffee and then not bother to clean it up, you know, and they just leave the store or they leave the house or they leave the convention and they've got, you know, you've got Cheeto crumbs and Mountain Dew spills. So snacks are always a good accessory, but if you're going to bring snacks to a table, make sure you bring enough to share with everybody, including the GM, unless, you know, like there's dietary things like that, and then clean up after yourself. So, but if there's one accessory I could recommend amongst all those other accessories, it would be probably dice, paper, pencils, crayons, index cards, something to carry them in. And of course, OGGM merch. I mean, really, if there's one accessory you need to get the player in your life, it is merchandise from the OGGM. Those amazing t-shirts featuring the awesome art by Andrew M. And of course, my 3, soon-to-be 4 adventures only on Big Geek Emporium till the end of the year. So if you want to get in on early on the OGGM OSR D20 Fistful of Minions Monster Adventures, check them out. Till next time, I'm the OGGM. Sorry, with this whole family thing going on, I don't have a lot to give you guys today. So I'll talk to you tomorrow. See ya.